We were sitting in the kitchen in the evening. You were scrolling through something on your phone. I was on mine. Tea, silence, soft light, an ordinary evening. And suddenly you showed me the screen. A photo. A narrow street, cobblestones, houses with flowers on their balconies. Somewhere in the distance, the blue sea. "What do you say?" you asked. I looked at that photo and felt something familiar, the same as before Florida, that anticipation, that fire that wakes up when you realize something good is ahead. "When are we going?" I asked. You smiled, with that mysterious smile of yours. "We are planning." We put down our phones and took our laptop. Not for work. For the first time in a long time, the laptop was open for work. We sat side by side and looked at the map. Portugal, Lisbon, Porto, small towns on the Atlantic coast. You ran your finger over the map and I looked at your hand. The same one that touched my back during training, that brushed the hair from my face, that held my hand on the curb in front of Florida. These hands are now planning our future. I thought, this is it. This is how it should look. Two people at a table, not with deadlines, not with spreadsheets, but with dreams. But while we were planning, my thoughts went further. Much further than Portugal. I began to imagine. Not just the next trip, but us. What we would be, where we would lead each other. I allowed myself to see it, clearly in detail like a movie. I see us in the morning in Lisbon, a small hotel on a hill, old, with creaky wooden stairs and windows overlooking the city. Morning, you are still sleeping. I wake up first. I get up quietly. I go to the window. The city below, tiles, pastel facades, somewhere far away the shine of the river. The air is cool and salty at the same time. I stand in a thin shirt and think, I am happy, right now, at this moment. Then I hear your voice, sleepy, warm. "Come here." And I go. I lie down next to you. You hug me without opening your eyes, just with your hand tightly, and we lie down and listen to the city wake up. This is what a journey is, not the sights. This is. I see us on a narrow street in Porto, the cobblestones underfoot, uneven, old. Each stone remembers hundreds of years. You hold my hand, not because I ask. You just hold it. We enter a small cafe, wooden tables, the smell of coffee and cinnamon, old music from somewhere deep down. You order, in Portuguese, which you learned, specifically, a few words, and the waitress smiles and answers slowly so that you understand. I look at you and think, you learned the language for this moment, for us. The coffee comes in little white cups. You sip and nod. Good. I sip and think, everything that's happening right now is good. This coffee, this city, this hand of yours on the table next to mine. I see us on the Atlantic coast, not Florida, a different ocean. Darker, harsher, with those big waves that crash against the rocks and fly up in white foam. The wind is strong. I'm pressed against you and you're hugging me from behind, your chin on my shoulder. We stand and look at the water. "What are you thinking about?" you ask. "About what I always want to do," I say. You're silent for a second. Then, "That's how it will be, not as a promise, as a fact, calmly and firmly. The way you say things when you really mean them. I believe you. But I see more than just travel. I see us at home, in a year, in two, and that's just as important. I see the mornings, your training corner where there's more equipment now, where you've become stronger and it shows. I wake up to the sound of you moving and smile into my pillow. I see the evenings. We cook together, our shoulders touch. You steal from my plate and I pretend to be serious, but I can't help but laugh. I see how you look at me, with that look that appeared after Florida and doesn't disappear. The one that says, I see you, all of you, and I like what I see. I see myself, the one who continues to dance, who has become lighter and bolder, who no longer wears gray turtlenecks, not because she forbade herself, but because she found colors. I see us, two people who have learned to grow side by side, not merging, not dissolving into each other, but remaining ourselves and at the same time being together. This is the most difficult and beautiful thing there is. I came back from my thoughts. You said something about hotels, about the route, about the fact that there is a castle in Sintra that you must see. I looked at you and thought, you don't know that I have just lived a whole year of our future. I have been to Lisbon and Porto and on the rocks of the Atlantic. I have seen our mornings and evenings and that view in 2 years. And all of this is beautiful. All of this is ours. Are you listening to me? You asked. I am listening, I said. I am just thinking. About what? I looked at you. I took your hand across the table. About the fact that we have somewhere to go, I said quietly. And with whom? You looked at me. For a long time, as you know how. Then you squeezed my hand. Yes, you said simply. We sat with that laptop for a long time. We planned our itinerary, argued about where to stay, laughed at some of the tourists' comments. You took notes. You always take notes. That's one of the things I love about you. Neatly, in your own handwriting. I watched you write and thought, there he is, the same man, who plans trips instead of disappearing into work, who takes notes about the castles in Sintra instead of reports, who holds my hand across the table and says yes, simple and firm. He's back. We're back. And ahead, Portugal. Dear listener, yes, you, who thinks that dreams are for others, younger, bolder, freer, who hasn't sat with a loved one over a map for a long time and asked, what if? Ask. Open the map. Show a photo. Say, what do you say? Dreams don't need a perfect moment. They only need two people looking in the same direction. Look together. The rest will come. Write in the comments where you plan to go together. Thank you for being here. Until next time.